Yeah, okay. Let me set an alarm again. It's gonna go faster. I'm sorry, guys. That's the design of this class. It's easier to kick people out when people, feel like lost, right? All right. So, but I hope that we still can graduate more than half of you. All right. So, technologies. Who here has used Coffeescript? Raise your hand. Coffeescript. Coffeescript. Come on, no one. Okay, great. That's why you're here. SAS, SCSS. Okay, so you know that stuff. So it says, well, people now use what do people use? Stylus.
CSS.
Okay, CSS. So SCSS allow you to do nested variables, function. Let's say you take a color, you can say darken by 50%, lighten. It's like amazing, right? You take a color and say, give it a transparency of 0.05. So in CSS, you cannot do that. You have to go and calculate, and then but yeah, but let's say, you have this color, right? And then how do you convert that into transparency? You have to convert this to, okay, it's RGBA, and then I don't know. Then you convert that into 4 values, right? And then here, I want it half. So technically, you can just, with CSS, this become a function, so you can actually pass in right? Obviously, Chrome will not understand this, but CSS does. Right, CoffeeScript, let's see if I still have CoffeeScript here. Here. CoffeeScript is just like Ruby. That's why Ruby actually embraces it. Now, because JavaScript is so powerful that you don't need that in CoffeeScript anymore. But when Ruby was really popular, CoffeeScript is just amazing, make a lot of people cry. So, that's CoffeeScript. So on here, I have something here that's like, that's JavaScript. But then you have a function, hi, right? Console.log, hi, right? And then you call hi, that's the function. And then when you call it, right, it print hi. And obviously, JavaScript is extremely loose. You can pass in as many arguments as you want. And it's like, I don't know, right? It's crazy. So what this guy is a function, then also over there, the scope of the variable. If you don't use var, right, it's the scope is different. It's more like global, right? So let's say here, if I do a function here is like a function, let's say a name argument, and then just say that console.log and hi. So now A is that function, and then you can say, uh-oh, what did I do? Oh, so A is not defined. I think that's the crazy, I don't know. Do I have to assign it to that? And then now I have, oh yeah. So it's like, it escaped it out in that closure. Right, so so now I have to assign it to a global name scope. So obviously now you can say hi, blah, right, 1, 2, 3, and stuff. So CoffeeScript is like that. It's pretty beautiful. It looks like Ruby, inspired by Ruby. Okay, technology. When you write, I'll do that a little bit. It may save you time to write that code, but it's not required for you to use CoffeeScript. It's really up to you. Okay. But SAS, definitely, please do it. Don't use CSS by itself. Rails compile CoffeeScript into JavaScript, right? CoffeeScript and ERB. ERB is just a way, it's a templating language, so when you insert Ruby variables in it, and then you just convert that into either HTML or JavaScript. You can even do CSS, but no one does that, right? Cool. Architecture. You're going to take a look at this one for 10 seconds, and I'm going to ask you. Ready? 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Try to remember what you can. All right. So where's the client? On the screen? This browser, and so that's the front end, kind of, right? Where's the back end? Backend is pretty much everything here, but then very back of the back is that one, right? Cool. So let's look at the structure. Maybe I'll pull out the notes. No, I don't want you to see my notes, personal notes. So maybe let's just do a sandbox. So in Rails, when you hit the browser, what happened? You send a request, yeah, and then you get where? Rail. Okay, so here actually you get the routes, right? So actually Rails server, but let's say inside Rails here, what goes first? Routes. Check whether it's valid or not. So after you see it's valid, where does it go? Controller, and then what? Models. Uh-oh. Then where's the view? Right, so then obviously after controller is done, this is actually in here, right? And then after that view is done, then you go back to the client, right? Okay? It's not the same if you get a CSS file like application.css. It skips all of these guys when you deploy it to production. There are just a lot of layers here, and you know, in here it's sort of caching. We don't care about that. Let's learn the Rails structure. Who here can remember what are the, if you have a new project, what are the folders we have? So I said Rails new first app. What folder do I have? CD first app. And then obviously now you know Ruby enough. Don't write that. Try to write like that, because Ruby is like for international people, right? Invented by the Japanese. They think it's easier to read than this. So, or like this is, you know, snake. That's a snake case, and this is what, camel case. So let's see. Okay, what are the folders in here? App. What's that? Config. DB. Is DB outside? And then? I don't know either, huh? Like what else? Like maybe a temp folder, maybe a log folder. Huh? Desk folder. Huh? View, where's view? Is views here? What else in here? Huh? Oh, this is your favorite folder. What else? What else? What's in asset? No! You're too excited. Coffeescript is inside this. And then what? Images. So, is that it? That's pretty good, huh? What else? Actually, there's one more, right? Alright. With that, I think there's no need. So I just proved to you that this diagram is useless. So, you don't need that. All you need is this. MVC, but technically MVC is like, it's an overused pattern that people do MVC differently. With Rails, yeah, try to do it this way. When you're in the view and you try to call the model too much, well, technically when you're learning, don't worry, just keep doing it. Later on, you want to keep some sort of separation, right? Isolation of responsibility. But then, you know, then you ask the controller to do too much work, and then that's why people introduce even more components like services and presenter, etc. In this class, just want you to build stuff, be good at Ruby. Don't need to be so good as an architect. That should be good enough. Model, usually it's better to have a fat model than a fat controller. Remember that? Can someone explain to me why? Maybe like one idea. Remember the car thing? When you have car as a model, you can go into Rails console and you can just say, hey, car.new, hey, car.name, car. It's very easy to test. When you put a method in controller, it's a lot harder to test, right? Controller is rendering the view, but when you look at the controller class, you look at it again later, it doesn't look like a class. Like you have this class articles controller, and then you have like def index, def like how does it even make sense? It doesn't seem to look like normal classes. So model is better, yeah. Fat and put. All right, now everyone's awake again. All right, next views. Views actually. Okay, we can be forgiving here. As you do it, you only know it when you write stuff in the view, but sometimes you realize, oh, I need to get the 5 most recent articles. Don't perform SQL query in the view. Just say article dot latest 5, right? Latest underscore, and then maybe open parenthesis 5, and go to the model and implement that method. Are we clear? Do that in the model, right? Now in view, you have all these helpers. Rails give you things like number to currency, pluralize. What's that? How do I say it? No, pluralize. Yeah, it's pluralize. Okay, so a lot of things in there, like a time ago in words. Ruby give you all the crazy things, so you don't have to think about how to convert from 1 to 2. Like 10 minutes ago, 10 days ago, it does all that for you. Okay, controller is cool because when you go, I already deleted it, but from the routes here, obviously in the routes, and you have all this URL, let's say name is blah blah blah, and now in there, in the controller, then you can access name as that, right? So that's parameters, so from the routes. And then, of course, there's any error, you throw it on the view. Cannot sign in. Some of you see that you cannot sign in. There's a message display, right? We call them flash messages, right? Okay. The cool thing about Rails is that you have to assume, okay, you have to know the convention, right? How does articles controller know to be in that folder, and how does it know when you say, give me the route for an article model? It goes to the articles controller, right? All the naming matters. So in some languages, you have to specify, oh, here's the car model. The name for the car model in the database should be my cars, right? In Ruby, it's like, no. Let's put it cars, simple, right? Some people like to name the database as singular. So let's say car, right? In Python, you may do that. In Django, but in Rails, you just everything is table is users, cars, lowercase, right? But models, uppercase. It's a class name. So those are the convention. Always learn the convention. If sometimes you discover some magic in that convention. Sometimes you can go under the magic and you can understand a lot more. All right, so these are the weaknesses. It's okay, you find out the weaknesses when you work on them. Are we ready to do live coding? I promise to go faster than just now, so you're not too bored. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to do the assignment for you in 20 minutes, but you have 5 hours.